Welcome to the Eli Farney Show. Hi. Welcome back to the Eli Farney Show. This is episode 7. The Space Between. This week's podcast, I have felt a multitude of feelings before recording. The weekend I was originally, keeping pace with once a week. I wasn't home. I was in Wichita, and I was glad to be home. It was for my cousin's wedding, my closest cousin, and just getting to spend some time with family, so I didn't mind that at all. But while I was gone, I missed doing my podcast. I was like, man, I'm excited to get back and to be able to do it. And life got a little bit busy by the time I got back, so I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and do it next week. Yesterday, I had all kinds of fun going on. I had to drop off my girlfriend at her car and had some friends come over, impromptu. It's life, and I try not to stress out too bad about those things, because when those things happen, if those things happen, then that's my cue to realize that that's how it's supposed to be. So when I get new stimulus, I try and not worry about all the things that I wanted to do or had planned to do or thought I was going to do. And I try and give up to my own higher mind and say, well, I've got it under control. This wouldn't be happening if, on some level, I wasn't forcing it to happen. And to me, that's a lot more comforting than the idea of simply a greater purpose, especially one that sits outside of you. I think through a lot of religion, this idea is built up about a God, but it's separate from you. And especially when you consider, things that label people as sinners and as separate from that entity. It literally is baked into it that you are separate from it and you're trying to get closer to it. And when things don't play out like you prefer, it's all part of the grand plan, and you need to trust in that thing. Some of those messages I resonate with so much, I want to replace that thing that is so far away from you with the deepest, most truest part of yourself. Your soul. The part of you that is actually observing is a grand, powerful thing. And it doesn't necessarily always produce purely positive experiences and purely what I consciously would want. And if I'm still the one doing it, then that changes my perspective. I'm not casting blame on the world. I'm not casting fault at the world or God, because I am the only thing that is creating. For better or for worse, I may not know why I'm creating what I'm creating because it's so unpleasant, but I'm the only one that could be creating it. I think I also want to go ahead and use this podcast as my own chance to check in. I just haven't been sleeping good lately. I have been waking up so tired and just not like me. And I think what's hard is when I'm going to bed, I make plans. I make plans about what I want to do, and I feel capable of doing those things. I feel excited by the opportunity of a new morning. And then I wake up and I feel completely different. I feel tired, I feel groggy, I feel unmotivated. And you guys know that I dream crazy, vivid dreams. And I do it every single night. Sometimes it can be neutral, just kind of an experience. But oftentimes, especially recently, it involves very, very intense emotional distress. It could be anger or sadness or fear, but very, very intense emotions. And when I wake up, for all intents and purposes, I just experienced that thing. And it gets really difficult when the level of emotional distress I experience in that dream, if it happened here, it would be traumatizing. But it never really existed. So even though I still felt the emotional weight as if that had happened, it's not even real. And I can't even totally remember it and explain it to somebody. And that's not just to put a bunch of pity on myself, it's just something I've become aware of. And it points me to some kind of self-work. Because I don't look at this as like all of these things are happening to me and I have no control. I just wish I understood more. I wish I already felt really sad and angry consciously in my day-to-day. So if I went to bed and had those dreams, I'd be like, well, I've been pissed off all day, you know what I mean? Or I've been mad at this and upset at this. But it seems like things will happen and consciously I will work my way through them and feel like I'm processing through them and dealing with them in a healthy way. And then I dream and I go, maybe I didn't. Maybe I haven't fully processed that feeling yet. It's not always a simple, clear answer. I've been having a few different feelings lately. One of them, let's start with the good one, is momentum. That's not necessarily a feeling, but let me explain. I have experienced a lot of momentum and a lot of positive emotions because of that. A very, very valuable lesson one of my professors taught me in college was to count those wins, that every step of the way is a win, not just the end result, but every step. And so I'm being very intentional about counting those steps as wins and allowing that to fuel me to do even better and to keep pushing and to keep growing in the face of the unknown. Because the truth about what I do is I don't have any job security. I don't know that a booking is going to come. I don't know really anything. I don't have that comfort and security. So it takes a deep level of discipline to do it anyway, to make the tapes, to do the recordings, to send it out there, and just be able to let it go. I think it's very easy to get attached to some of these roles that I really want this one. I really want this one. I hope these guys call me back. It's been this many days. But the truth is, you gotta send it and forget it. Once it's out there, it's done. And the cool part is I think that applies to much more than just what I do, but any kind of creative outlet. Whether you have your own podcast or you stream or whatever it is, something that you do creatively that's important to you that you want to share with other people. There's this battle that you go through where you want it to be perfect and you want it to be good and you want it to be an accurate reflection of what you're capable of. And you want things to work out. If you're going to make something, if you're going to send an audition or make a podcast, you want it to work. You want people to accept it. You want to get the job, whatever. But I think the true power and beauty is simply in the doing and in the being. That you are this thing. This thing flows from you unapologetically. It is what it is. You're not insisting upon a certain result or a certain outcome. You just do it because it's part of you. I think that's what's going to attract the most amount of people. Everyone is willing to accept someone who is being themselves. No one likes to be sold to. No one likes to be explained to, or no one wants to buy into this character or persona someone's being. But I've said it on my podcast before, the more we be ourselves, the more other people want to be themselves. Subconsciously, we feel comfortable when someone is being themselves. We don't have to extend the effort to look at the read between the lines and see what they're really about. We can see it, we can feel it. We love when people are genuine. I've kind of had this interesting experience after graduating where a bunch of my friends moved away. In some ways, a lot of my life is very similar because you only see a small group of people every day. You only have your really close friends, and I'm very blessed to live in a day and age where I can call people and I can play video games with people. And I am very, very drawn to that. I mean, I am a person that needs social interaction. Even though sometimes we can all stress ourselves out over making everything happen with what we want to do today in each relationship that we have and giving proper time and spreading ourselves around. At the end of the day, I'm probably like a lot of you, I am very, very social. And part of this adjustment period between coming into almost a work from home environment where because I've got my self-tape studio, I've got my voiceover studio, it's all in my house. I don't go out and do as much things as I once did. I don't go to class every day and see all these people. And so I'm very, very drawn to the social interaction that I can have. However, playing video games is still kind of a free time activity, a leisure activity. And so I can spend so much time just wrapped up in playing games with my brother or my friends and having that social time. And then after, for some reason, I seem to feel so ashamed and guilty about having spent my time that way. And if I think about it, like my inner child, if I had my own kid who was always stuck at home and just wanted to play some games with his friends, would I beat him up for it? Would I tell him that he's a lazy piece of shit and he doesn't do anything, even though he's still responding to his calls and still doing work? Would I discredit all of that and blame him for the few hours that he had playing video games? I wouldn't. And yet it seems like a natural process that happens inside myself. This feeling of shame and guilt starts radiating from my core. My water and my fire chakras get all kinds of blocked. And I heard something kind of interesting on a TikTok. This guy was talking about how he used to sleep in on Sundays and always dealt with that same feeling of shame and guilt because he was wasting his Sundays. And eventually, he decided to just start enjoying the fact that he slept in on Sundays. And it was only then that he actually started to feel the peace. It wasn't from the activity that he was doing, but from the enjoyment of it. And so, kind of in a similar vein to what I was talking about before, if I wasn't meant to have this time with my friends or with my brother, then it wouldn't be available. One way or another, we wouldn't line up and we just wouldn't be able to do it. But the fact that it's able to happen, and it does bring me so much joy, shows me that it's okay to experience that. And of course, you gotta have moderation. That can't be the only thing that you do every day. But with my life, I do have decent chunks of free time. I mean, I may have, I've completed all my additions that I currently have right now. And until the next one comes, it's not a 9 to 5. It's not, you know what I mean? There's no very next thing, which is great because it allows me to do my podcast and take care of other things I need to do in life. But it's so different than some of the things that I've done before, selling pest control door to door, 9 to 9, or working 11 to 6, or, whatever it is. Like it's a very different thing. And reminding myself that I still am doing enough can be very, very difficult because it's so different and it's so new. I've had a hard time just feeling normal and feeling like I have both feet on the ground. Honestly, a while back I started having these panic attacks and I started taking anti-anxiety medication. And they helped. They got rid of the panic attacks and the physical symptoms that I was experiencing that were kind of debilitating. But mentally in my own head, I haven't really gone back to where I was before that. And I don't think I'm going to. I mean, I think I'm just a different person and we all grow and we all change. But it is weird. I think that there's some level that is attainable as far as just re-honing into who I really am and grounding myself, and I think that I am getting better at that. And I think that life is giving and kind of forcing an opportunity upon me to become something different. I don't know exactly what that's going to turn out to be. And I have my own fears that I'm going to fuck it up and I'm going to squander all my potential and I'm going to be a bum. And it just kind of sits. You know, I imagine something we don't often think about when we look at other people is their emotional state and their history of the past few days, past few weeks, maybe even past few years. What has just been sitting and bubbles up a few thoughts at a time. Every once in a while, maybe once a day or once a week, you think about the same thing and feel the same way. Or you kind of go on this ride of ups and downs with your current emotional state. Sometimes you have a stretch of a few days or a week where you feel good and you feel alive, and other times you just aren't. Like, you just, every day you're waking up and it's just not it. You have no idea where someone else is at, especially a stranger. But I think in and of itself, just recognizing that we're all doing that together can not only help you treat other people better, but treat yourself a little bit better and have a little bit more grace for yourself. Because the funny thing about it is, no matter how alone we feel, you gotta fucking think about it. There are 7 billion of us, and we've been here for thousands of years. There is so many human lifetimes that have come and gone and are still going. We're all doing the same thing. We're all fighting that same battle. That's why part of me thinks we're all the same fucking creature. Because we never get it right. We are literally spending an eternity learning how to get it right. To what end and to what purpose, I don't know. I'm still just one fraction of me. It's really easy to measure worth by productivity, and it's really hard to rest when your mind is wired for pressure. I, in a way, was built for pressure. I feel like growing up, when I was able to take the last shot, I always felt comfortable. When the game was on the line, when things were intense, I felt calm and ready. But it's this subtle underlying pressure that exists all the time, both from me and from my environment. The slow burn is what gets me. A lot of pressure, a lot of heat, a lot of moment, same as getting ready to go on stage. I'm great for that. But this just little piece of you that won't turn off, this one light that's still flickering in your gut. That is what I really, really struggle with. And for me, a lot of it has to do with money. I feel a lot of pressure to make money and to track my success by how much money I'm making. The funny part is I've maxed out my productivity selling door-to-door pest control. Again, working, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., knocking hundreds of doors every single day. I maxed out my productivity and maxed out the amount of money that I could make. And I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't happy. I wasn't content even. I wasn't sustainable. I couldn't keep doing that because it wasn't what I wanted to be doing. It's not how I wanted to extend my time, even if it worked. So today I'm not here to offer a solution to all of our problems. Just a chance to recognize them and think about them. Because maybe somebody out there is also in kind of a faded space. Kind of an in-between where they feel stuck or I think just faded, muted, and gray, kind of airy, like a cloud or mist. But like I said, we're all kind of doing it together. Let's just take 15, 30 seconds and just listen to the music. And I'm gonna go to my happy place. I'm gonna close my eyes and listen to the birds and imagine the sun and its warmth on my face and the cool breeze of the wind. And breathe. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Happy Monday. Have a great day.